Welcome to the House Doctor. Today I'm going to be trimming out this pocket door. Trimming out a pocket door is not difficult. You just have to take your time and you can make it look perfect when you're finished. We're going to get started working on this side. This would be, I guess you would call it the striker side, where the door slides open into. Let's get started. This first piece of jamb that you're putting in, it's very important that it be plumb and square because everything else is going to be based off of this. It's best if you have a 6-foot level, but you can get by with a 4-foot level. And make sure you're plumb. You're flush with the drywall on both sides. But here I am out of square, so I need to bring this side out just a little bit. So I'm going to do that with some shims. When you're putting your shims in, when you need to use more than like I was here to just straighten it out, put your two thin sides together and slide them so that you end up with a flat surface that you're nailing against. You want to nail this in at least 4 spots. If this was a swinging door with a latch, you'd have to have it a little bit more secure. You want to double it up where the latch is, or on the hinge side. You put shims behind all the hinges. Here we just are trying to get this board straight. You don't have to put a ton of nails into this board. It's going to get stiffened up even more once we put our casing on. We just want to get it so it's straight and plumb, and then we're going to work our way off of this. I'm going to cut back these shims just so I don't walk by and knock something loose, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, once we have this side of our jamb nice and plumb, we want to push our door up against it and adjust our door so that the door lines up with this. Right, so to adjust our door so it matches up to our jamb, you just take the wrench that came with your pocket door, and there's a little bolt up here. You just turn it back and forth until you get the right reveal that you're looking for here. I have the door in the open position, or closed, stowed, whatever you want to call it. The door is inside the wall, and here's the metal stud that's part of the pocket door kit, and you'll see it has little slots here. That's where you have to nail the door jamb to on this side, but once you put it up, you're not going to be able to see where they are. So I make a mark on the framing opposite so I know where I can put a nail, because nails are not going to go in here. Let me mark that up and measure this for length. Okay, down at the bottom here, you can see that the door and the split jamb is nice and flush, but as we come up the door, you can see that the jamb is back further than the door. So what we need to do as we're nailing this on is shim this out so that it all ends up nice and flush. It's going to give us a really good install. So I'll start at the bottom and work my way up with shims as I go. Okay, we're nice and flush here. We're going to be putting the casing on. It's going to stiffen everything up. Now we just have to do the other side the same way. If you've made it this far in the video, where we got both sides of our jamb done, you're probably thinking, this guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. You always do the top jamb first. Not with a pocket door. You have all this hardware up here that could go bad, might need to be adjusted. So in order to get access to this without tearing all the trim up, you need to make it somewhat removable. When I installed the hardware for the door, I put the release catches for both of the trolleys on the laundry room side of this door. That way I only have to pull down a little bit of the trim to be able to get to it. I'm going to take my angle finder here, since the door jamb is pretty wide, and just double check and make sure it's 90. This digital angle finder is really handy to have, and it's not expensive. I'll put a link in the description below where you can pick one up pretty cheap, and also links for the other tools that I've used during this project. When you install the top piece of the jamb, you're looking for a couple of things. You're looking for a 90-degree corner here and here, but you also want to make sure that the piece is down far enough so that you don't see the hardware of the pocket door as it opens up. It's not really that important if this piece is level, although it should be since we're plumb here, and we made sure this was all plumb to this. So when you get these 90, this should be plumb. Okay, I have the other side of the jamb in place and shimmed, and it's flush with the other jamb. Then use trim head screws, small head screws, to install this. So if somewhere down the line I need to take this down, it'll be easy. I can just use the screw. And I'm going to pre-drill this because the framing for the pocket door is very thin here. I don't want to split it. Our pocket door jamb is all installed. Now just trim off these shims and we'll put the casing on like you would a standard door, with one exception up here. When you're ready to do your casing, you want to get your combination square and set it for 3/16. That's going to be the reveal that we're going to use for our door casing. Not exactly sure why it's 3/16. All I know is my brother told me 30 years ago, make it 3/16, so that's what I've been doing. I try to avoid measuring as much as possible when I'm putting casing around doors and windows. It's much easier if you can just put the molding in place, mark where you need to cut it, and then take it to the saw and cut it. You have a lot of different options when you purchase your molding. You can get solid wood, you can get finger jointed wood, you can get MDF. They even have some plastic and PVC moldings. I haven't tried the PVC yet, but as far as the plastic and the MDF moldings, I would not use those around doors or for baseboards. They chip too easily, they don't hold up as well. Stay with the wood or the finger jointed. I have my pieces cut to length, and I'm going to just tack them in place at the top on the jamb. Like I said earlier, I like to avoid measuring, so I'll take my top piece, rough cut it to length, and then flip it upside down, line up one point, and then I'll mark the other end for length. Like I said, it's much easier than measuring. That way you won't end up in a situation where you've cut a piece 3 times and it's still too short. Now I can just run down the sides and pin it up against the reveal line that we made earlier. Remember, when you're doing your nailing around the casing of your pocket door, you want to make sure you have the right length nails. Probably can't use 2-inch nails. You might need to go with something a little bit shorter because you don't have a lot of framing between the drywall and the pocket door. And you'll notice I did not put any brad nails on this piece of casing up here. That's because if I need to, I can just take out the trim screws that I put in this piece of jamb and pull this out, and I don't have to worry about the nails from the casing going into it. So just 3 trim screws, I can pull this down, and that should give me enough access to do what I need to do if the pocket door hardware ever needs adjustment or replacing. put a little bit of doorstop around two sides just to break it up. If you're curious as to why I have such a wide door jamb on this side, check out my other video on installing this pocket door and you'll see what went on to get the pocket door installed. I hope you found this video helpful. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. That way you'll be notified whenever a new video comes out, and you'll see what I'm doing next in this laundry room, which is a custom cabinet for more storage. Thanks for watching.